Just a reminder that it's been suggested that every element of every story is an aspect of our self. That means that every story is our story. So there's a reminder of the story about that young man who had reached the age where the fire in his belly was launching him on what is called the hero's quest. But just as he was about to embark, he encountered a witch. And this witch began to weave a spell about him until he was finally caught totally in its web. And the old woman said to him, "Now you belong to me, and I am sending you on a mission to find the pitcher that never runs dry." She told him that he would meet many adventures on the way, but to remember that this pitcher was real and not to lose heart. So he embarked, and this took him on many travels, encountering many adventures, and many of those who decried that such a thing did not exist. But he persevered until one day he came into an old hermit sitting under a tree. And after having conversation, and the old man asking him what it was that he was seeking, and was told that this was the pitcher that never run dry, that he was seeking for his master. And the old hermit opened his robe and took out the pitcher and said, "This is what you are seeking. Take it to your master. But remember, there is yet more." The young man vaguely heard and understood what the old hermit was saying, but he was so pleased to have finally obtained his goal of obtaining the pitcher that never ran dry, that he did not give it any thought, but hastened back to the old woman. And of course, when she obtained the pitcher, she was happily proving that indeed it was the one that never ran out. But after this had become assured to her, she said to him, "Now you must go on another mission to find the purse that will always be replenished with a gold coin." And again she told him that he would find those who did not believe such a thing existed, but she assured him that indeed it does, and he must find it. So again he set out, and again he had many adventures, many encounters, until again he found himself at the same place where the old hermit sat under the tree. And again, after an exchange, the young man told the old hermit what he was seeking for his master. And again the old man opened his cloak and took out a purse, assuring the young being that this was the purse that would always be replenished with a gold coin. But the old hermit said to him, "Don't you remember your previous quest?" And the young man vaguely shook his head. "And do you remember what was said? That there was more?" And the young man again scratching his head, and this time listening a little more carefully than he had before, he said to the old man, Please, won't you enlighten me?" And the old man, instead of speaking any further, took out from his cloak a small sachet. And the old hermit said, "In this sachet is an element that if it is thrown in a fire will immediately make whatever is beside the fire to poof, go up in smoke." Almost nonchalantly, without much thought, the young man put the sachet in his pocket, and grasping the purse with the golden coin in his hands, he hastened back to the old witch. Of course, she was delighted and immediately began to extract gold coins from the purse that endlessly produced gold coins. But then she said, "You know now that you do belong to me, and I have another mission for you. There is one, a young woman, who also belongs to me. Go and bring her to me." And she gave him the name and the place in which this maiden could be found. So again he set out, and indeed he arrived at this place, where he met the maiden. She was beautiful, gracious, with many of the very finest qualities found in a human being. But he also was tall, handsome, and strong. So the maiden allowed herself to be carried off by the young man and taken back to the place where the old witch lived. When they arrived, the old woman was about to begin to weave her spell on the maiden, when the maiden realized what she was doing and cried out with all her being, "Save me! I love you!" And something in the young man moved, shifted, and he had recall. Reaching into his pocket, he drew out the sachet in which was contained a powder, and throwing a pinch of this powder on the fire in the fireplace that was always burning, in the house of the old woman, immediately, poof, the old woman disappeared, never to be seen again. The young man and the young woman, of course, were in love, and they lived richly on the pitcher that never ran dry, and the purse that was always filled. All elements of all stories, aspects of our self, our psyche. So every story is our story. What is it that arises out of this story for you? Where are you now? What is this sachet of powder, a pinch of which thrown into a flame, always burning, and poof, the illusions, the doubts, the fears, the seductions, the demons, poof, go up in smoke. What is this fire? We know very well when we recall our story, we had that fire. Where is it now? Do we still need it along with the powder? It can render into smoke our doubts and our fears. Where are you now?